Well, hello again at me trying to make videos on the internet. Now, been away for a month. Didn't mean to be. I really do want to get onto doing this a lot better than that, but life sometimes gets in the way. Now, with that out of the way, let's have a look at the Beeb with the PiTubeDirect installed. Now, in my case, I have a PiTubeDirect with a Raspberry Pi Zero, not the Raspberry Pi Zero W. And this is because at the moment the kernels that have been compiled for it don't actually allow the W version to work at full speed. If you just use the files that you would normally use on the Pi Zero, it won't go anywhere near as fast as it should be doing. It is possible to find some recompiled kernels or whatever they've done to it so that it will get to be working a lot faster on the W, but still it's not as fast as the normal Pi Zero. So if you're going to get one of these Pi Tube Directs and you want to use a Pi Zero with it, I recommend you use Pi Zero and wait until things have been updated so that the W does work at full speed. And really, if you get the benefit of using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth with it, because really, otherwise, there's no real advantage of getting one. So, at the moment, if I were you, I would just get one of each so that at least you've got it in the house. So when you want to use a W1 and things have been done, you can just easily swap it over. Right, for now though, I want to talk about the different co-processors that come with the PiTubeDirect, or rather allows you to use through emulation of them. There's a list on the website that you can get the PiTubeDirect from that explains which mode's which. But I'm just going to show you a few of the little things that come across a little bit strange at first if you don't know what you're doing with them. I'm not saying I fully understand everything about them because I don't, but there's a couple of things that have tripped me up when I've tried to do something with them, and I think it'd be nice to be able to show you what it was that tripped me up. Now, with the PiTubeDirect, it's possible there's a config file on the micro SD card, and in there you can enter a line that allows you to, when the Beeb starts up, it will start with that coprocessor, or if you so wish, to have the coprocessor turned off at boot. At the moment, I've got it so that it starts up with the 6502 coprocessor. Just to show you, for the people that do know something about Beebs and coprocessors and how fast things are, there's a thing that you can type in, which is this 1000 return and press run, and here it will start showing you timing while using this copro. This is all in real time. I've not accelerated it in any way. This is all popping up at the screen the same time I see it as you see it. And as you can see, that's quite a jump from just the good old stock BBC B. Yeah, the numbers show for themselves there. I think that there's a big difference. Now, just because I've got it so that I can load things from compact flash and everything like that, I can just press shift and break, and it will start to load up Elite, which uses a 6502 copro. And as you can see, it moves an awful lot better and faster than just a stock B playing the original Elite, which is playable. Oh, a little explosion sound there, which is playable, but it is a little bit jerky. It's amazing that the programmers did what they did in the days that they did this on the Beeb, but still, having a co-pro does make the game an awful lot nicer to play. The flashing that you may well be seeing, especially when the spaceship was going along in the video, that's just because of the way that the hertz are different in the way that the capture device works. I can't improve that any on the video, apart from maybe buying a better capture device, which I might do in the future. As you can see, it's spinning around quite nicely. It's a little bit disappearing in the video as far as I can understand. Here on my screen, which I have an LCD screen using an RGB cable, it doesn't disappear. It's a little bit flashy at times, but it's still very, very watchable, and as I say, you can play the game quite easily doing that. Not that the game's easy, but you know what I mean. So let's go back to the beginning. So here we have the 60502. Now there's different versions of the 6502 that you can have. There's it's referred to as the 65 tube, based on the 65C02 coprocessor at 274 MHz, which is lightning fast compared to a Beeb sat by itself running at 2 MHz. There's also mode number 1, which is a 65 tube based on the 6502 coprocessor at 3 MHz, which is still faster than a stock Beeb. Mode 2, which is a lib 6502 based on the 65C02 coprocessor at 19.8 MHz. And then we have mode 4, which is the Z80 coprocessor with CPM bootstrap. Now with the CPM bootstrap, there was different computers that had that back in the day. That, if I remember rightly, the Spectrum Plus 3 had it, and the Amstrad with the disk drive had it, which as well. So it's possible to access the Z80. From what I understand, with having there is a problem to do with changing the modes if you don't fully understand on how to change modes correctly, which I still don't fully understand what the differences are, but the point is that it's something that might trip you up, because it tripped me up, because I wouldn't, and you'll see why in a moment, because on the website it says to press control break after changing modes, and sometimes it says just to press break when changing modes. From what I understand, the control break is a complete, it's like pressing the reset button on other computers, but pressing break is like a soft reset. I think that's the difference. I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on it. So this is what it tripped me up in the first place. Now to change mode, you press FX, you press star, oops, it was probably press down shift, star, FX, 151, comma, 230, comma, mode 4, press return, and now if you press control break, you can't do anything. I'm pressing keys, which you probably can hear. You can't do anything. But if you just press break, you get a start prompt, which then means you can carry on doing other funny things and do more commands. Why there's a difference like that, I'm not too sure. It doesn't seem to happen in the other modes that I've tested. One thing that's kind of annoying though is that when you want to go back, because there's a star, I don't need to type a star. When you go back to a different coprocessor, and let's go back to the 6502, and I press break. Press control break. See, if I press control break, it just did. You saw what it did, and then press control break, I get back this. I'm not 100% sure why there's a difference, but there is. But that's the thing though, is that you might be trying to press control brake when it comes to the Z80, and it seems that you shouldn't, you just should press brake. Let's have a look at the next mode, which is mode 8. Why the numbers jump all over the place, I don't know. I mean, we start off at 0, 1, 2, 4, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 14 is to turn the coprocessor off. Why, I don't know. But I'm not the programmer or the creator of this. It's amazing that they've done any of this at all, so it's not that I'm knocking it, it's just I would have made it a little bit differently when it comes to the selecting of the modes. I would have had 0 as being it turns the coprocessor off. So that's just me. So anyway, let's have a look at the coprocessor for the Intel. FX 8, so 151, 230, 8. And I'll press brake. And as you can see there, it has a 286 chip now with 960k. Quite amazing, really. I'm sure this would have been great to have back in the day on doing different things. Now, I've heard of a 6502 chip before, but I have to say I've never heard of a 6809 coprocessor. Oh, wait a minute, yes I have, of course. 68,000 code, of course I've heard of it. Oh, is that a different type of chip? Anyway, that is mode number 9, so 151, 230, 9. Then we have a 6809. But no, I press brake there, and now I don't have a prompt. So I press control brake, and now I have a prompt. This is what I mean, like, why is it with a Z80 you have to press brake and not control brake? I really don't know. Maybe I should go to some forums and ask some wiser people than myself. Anyway, we have the star automatically, so FX 151, 230, mode 12 now, and this will change it to an Acorn ARM2 coprocessor. Break. Oh, look at that. 4096k. Well, 4 meg to play around with. If only I could program. Right. And let's change to a Pandora 32,000 coprocessor. Oh, that's a chip and a half. I've never heard of that one. That is a chip I've never heard of before. Oh, wonder if I have to type star since there's already a star. Find out in a moment. Star FX 151, 230, 13. Press brake. I had to press control brake that time. And there we have a Pandora 32,000 version 2. I have to say, I've never heard of this chip before. If anyone knows anything about it, please leave some information down in the comments for myself and maybe other people who have never heard of it. Because I sure as hell haven't. Right, and then let's have a look at the last one, which is 151, 230, 15. Press brake. No brake is a difference. No. This takes us into, as you can see, a ARM coprocessor. This is an ARM 1176 coprocessor, and it's at 1 gigahertz. Oh, close enough as you're gonna get. Quite amazing that it's you can access all these different chips, and I'm assuming with the numbers missing in the mode, for the ROMs, it may well be possible to have more ROMs added at a later date. Since, you know, like 3, 5, 6, 7 and 10, 11 are missing at the moment. I don't know what other code processors you could add to a Beeb that would be useful to people. Obviously this is great for the people that do understand an awful lot about programming and things like that. But people like myself, what it does is allow to have the 6502 chip, and it means that games that take advantage of that, certain versions of Elite, for example, it means we can play them at a lot faster speed than just a stock Beeb. I realise that's not an awful lot of information, but I hope that, as you can see, the times that I've tripped up and things, is that when you're trying to press control break or brake, you understand that sometimes it's one or the other, and sometimes it doesn't seem to make a difference at all. So we'll leave that for today. If you have found it interesting, please hit the thumbs up. If you've not found it interesting, well, take it upon yourself to press the thumbs down button. But it'd be nicer to have more thumbs up. I really do want to start making more videos. I think the next video that I'll do some on the Commodore 64. And a little bit more, got my head around that one a bit more. And really with that one we can play a fair few games quite quickly. On the Beeb, I'm still setting up more games and things to be done with it, because of the setup that I have. It's actually possible to have 2 compact flash drives in, and each one of them having 2 partitions, so that the Beeb basically thinks it's got 4 hard drives. I've got a fair few files to be copying across, but all the files are actually disk images, and if you put disk images across, as far as I've figured out at the moment, you can't load the files from within the disk image when it's already on the compact flash. As you saw in my last video, you can if I'm loading it from the USB. If I'm loading it from the hard drive, it wants to see it as files as it would normally see if it was on a floppy disk, which makes sense. So I'm slowly but surely copying what I've got across from using taking the files out of the floppy disk image and putting them onto a hard drive image, which then means I have to open up my BBC and stick the compact flash card into my PC and then flash that hard drive image across to the certain partition on that compact flash. It can't seem to be all done on the Beeb, or if it can, it would take a very long time, so it's actually a lot quicker to just do it on the PC. If anyone's interested in how I'm doing that, please let me know, and I'll make a little video on how to do that. You have to spend a little bit of money. It's only £5 that you have to spend, but you have to buy a certain bit of software, and then that allows you to create these hard drive images. But as I say, for now, thanks for watching. I hope I haven't bored you too much. See you next time. Bye.